Hello, everyone. Today we have with us Mr. Satyam from Bihar. He has just secured 169th rank in the UPSC examination. Let's hear what he has to say to all the aspirants out there. Satyam.
Uh, Perseverance and smart work, not the hard work, smart work. Perseverance and smart work have been two ways to achieve the goal in this exam. Uh, Try to have the right set of guidance, which can be through different institutes. If you have seniors, they help you in particular. And if you mix these two, perhaps you will achieve the result. One particular advice to working professionals separately is do not resign from your service till the time you know that you can study for the exam. Test your aptitudes. Uh, do read a few books, the books that are given for UPSC, kind of Lakshmikant or Durga Das Basu or Bipin Chandra. Do read a few of them before you decide whether you want to appear for this exam or not. Because know that only knowing the goal is not enough. You must traverse the path, the journey to achieve the goal.
It's really nice. Thank you so much. Now that we've heard about your advice to aspirants, let's learn more about you. So, how does it feel, firstly, before we get into the discussion, how do you feel on clearing it?
To be truthful, before we clear exam, it seems like a really a big thing. But probably after you clear it, you at least after a few days, the feeling sets in, it sinks in, and you start feeling that okay, ultimately it's just another exam, and this is a job. Yes, a highly coveted one, but ultimately it's still a job that you have to do.
But that's amazing, though, that I think more than anything from what I've known about the IAS exam, it is one of the toughest exams. And more than just having the knowledge part of it, you need a lot of determination, a lot of hard work, and belief in yourself that you can do it. So it comes with a lot of character, right? So mainly, I want to kind of understand on how did this whole aspiration to be an IAS officer start? What was the origin?
What was the origin? First and foremost, I'm from Bihar, and probably there
Yeah,
is
yeah,
this with all the Biharis, they somehow have this culture of civil services. And
yeah.
my father has always been highly interested in social service, doing one thing or another all the time. Even now, he is looking after a lot of PDS distribution and everything in the district, despite the fact that he is not holding onto any post.
Okay.
So that kind of was there initially. Still, I did not pursue it. I completed my BTech in civil engineering from NIT Jamshedpur and joined a job in Bangalore. There, to be truthful, I remember the date on 30th of August. That was when I was watching a movie. It's a very popular movie. Most of the people have heard it, Schindler's List.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. Got it. Yeah.
uh, yeah, so most of the people have known this, and I had this movie for a long time in my laptop throughout my college days. But it's in black and white. In college times, you do
Yeah.
not feel much enthusiastic about watching a black and white movie.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I ultimately was sitting alone in my flat and I started watching the movie. And by the time the movie ended, the last scene was so inspiring. It was like a single person can have such a big contribution.
Wow.
So even though I had a job which was really nice, I decided that I wanted to do something that was more than me, that could do more than what I am alone as a person.
Mm.
So that's when I decided to prepare for civil services. After a few months, I resigned and I came to Delhi.
Wow. So when was this? Which year was this that you saw the movie in?
I saw the movie in 2014, 2014 August.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, anyway,
so
30th is coming soon. So it's been exactly 6 years since you got inspired and you've tried to,
yes, I would say that. Yes, it's been 6 years since I got inspired from that, and uh, you know, I resigned a bit late because I had a bonus pending in the company. I thought I'll use that for my fee.
okay.
so
Yeah.
so I planned all that. And the same year, at that time, the topper of the exam was Gaurav Agrawal, who had just obtained rank one. And I was listening to some of his talks, and in some of his talks, he had talked about how you should first check, because he was also in job before coming and preparing for the exam. So he was like, you should first check whether you can study these subjects or not, because different people have different aptitudes, right? So that's something that I started doing there. Started reading a few books here and there to gauge whether I can study for this exam or not. It was completely haphazard because there was no guidance. But then yes, I did feel by next 4 or 5 months that okay, I should perhaps maybe resign and try for this exam, and that's what I did in 2015.
Amazing. But how was the feeling that, I mean, generally they say after you start working, it's very hard to go back and study, even to write a normal exam, do an MS or, do a higher study when it's so hard. How confident were you that I'll leave my job, which was also a very good job, and I'll start PSC? What were some of the challenges that you had to face? Was the family supportive?
The challenges were there. The family was supportive. The family was supportive all along. But then there are, of course, financial challenges, particularly when you are aging. Currently, I'm 30, just for reference.
Okay.
So when you're aging, you feel a sense of responsibility towards your family, that you are maybe not, at least you want to be independent. You don't want to be dependent on your family. So
Right.
that sense of responsibility does come. As I told you, I waited for my bonus so that I can, at least chip in with my fees and everything.
Hmm.
So that was there. But I have adopted a formula in life uh, to take some of the big decisions, and that was one of the such moments where I had to use that formula. The formula was simple. I imagined myself 5 years down the line, and what could be the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario could be that I had not cleared the exam, and I would have probably gotten back into a private sector job. The question was this: I had two choices. I could continue in the job and flourish for next 5 years, or I could resign. And you have to imagine worst case scenario, because if you clear the
Yeah.
exam, then there is nothing much to regret about, right?
Yeah.
Now I asked myself a simple question: if I resign today, and if I'm not able to clear the exam, will I regret the fact that I resigned from? I
Hmm.
had my answer. I had to resign, so I did that.
Wow. That's really interesting and inspiring because very less people do it. And I think that is where you had already won the battle of becoming an IAS officer. And that was the first step to show that your character was really so that you can become this officer. But one thing though, aspirations were really high, and that's really good. But what was the strategy on how you would prepare? Did you have anyone who you consulted on what you should prepare, how you should go about it? Because one step we've already learned that you took a gut choice which had a formula, but still, what was the strategy and how did you think you will become clear the exams?
Uh, Actually, this is see. Most of the people say that you have to do smart work and not just hard work to clear this exam. And for that, guidance becomes important. Somebody to guide you, somebody to tell you what to study and how to study. Because this is one small analogy that you can use, that if you have to dig a well and you dig up a 1 kilometer square of area, actually you would have worked a lot by then,
Hmm.
much more than the work that you might have needed to dig up a well, but still you would have not ended up with the result, right?
Right.
So only hard work cannot help you. It has to be smart work. Now, this is one problem that I had also faced. To be frank, I did not have much of a guidance. I had some of the friends who were preparing for the exam a few months before me, only a few months. So even they were not, they did not have the best of ideas how to go about it. So the guidance was not best. It was more of a hit and trial throughout the journey. And during those years, there were not many topper stocks. The culture of this topper stock, where the top 10 people who clear the exam come and talk about their strategies. This
Right.
started around 2014. So there wasn't much, data there. So because of this also, the path was kind of tortuous. But then yes, it was mostly hit and trial. Eventually, I did settle with some of my strategies, which I'll say eventually
Yeah.
as you talk about them. But then yes, uh, initially there was none. To be truthful, I
But
discovered it as I went along.
is there, so I'm sure you can't give an insight of all the hacks into how you got here, but you said hit and trial. Is there anything that you wish you hadn't hit, or that any aspirants now would not do? Any tips like that to avoid people wasting time, or what shouldn't they do before we go ahead and talk more about what they should do?
Yes, there are definitely things that you should do in the very beginning so that you save some of the time. So I'll tell you, I read whole Norman Law. Norman Law is the name of the author who has written the book on world history. I read the whole book twice in my first attempt itself.
Okay.
Now, if you analyze previous year questions, they hardly ask one question from world history,
Oh,
and sometimes they don't even ask questions from world history. So
okay.
even though you have to cover it, you have to cover the topic. It should not be a thick book as Normal Law, that too which only covers less than half of the syllabus.
Hmm.
So your focus there has to be on getting some material or some video tutorial which you can quickly go through and prepare your short notes, and you're done with the topic.
Right.
So not having the right idea actually, doubled efforts at many places.
Yeah.
That
Sorry.
was one problem. That was one mistake that I had committed. Some other mistakes here and there were like while making notes, you learn to make notes, right? First time in the first instance, I did not know how to make notes. So everything was jumbled up. You learn to make notes. So I flip-flopped between online and offline tools. Uh, if you ask me personally to recommend it, I will recommend making notes online on some software that is compatible with note making. There are two typical examples, Evernote and OneNote. I was using Evernote. So
Mhm.
it's better because you can edit things. There are things that change,
Mhm.
you will have to edit them. You will have to change data. You will have to change many things as time passes. In fact, you will learn things more, and you will know that what you knew previously is not something that's perfect. You need to modify it and make it something else. So it's
Right.
way easier for making online notes rather than offline notes. So these
Mm.
are some of the things that I would say one must do. There are just two sources that one must rely on all the time while preparing for this exam. One is UPSC syllabus, and the second is previous year questions.
Okay.
This is another mistake that I'm highlighting, and that's because we as students and we as candidates, we follow what coaching institutes generally ask. Now, I'm not saying that they are doing it with bad intention or anything. I'm nobody to comment on that part. What I'm basically trying to say is that we should prepare for UPSC exam and not for any coaching question paper. That at times distorts the vision. So what happens is, say a particular institute, if I join the test series of a particular institute whose name is XYZ, and XYZ institute goes on to ask me a lot of questions from a particular topic, but very less questions from another topic. I, as a student, end up studying a lot of the topic A, which the institute has asked a lot,
Yeah.
and less of topic B. And there is one comparison that I will give here,
Mhm.
which I also asked with many of my fellow,
Yeah.
friends and
Yeah.
candidates who were preparing for the exam. Uh, in last 7 years, from 2013 to 2019, in last 7 years, security issues is a topic of which UPSC has asked a total of 380 marks.
Okay.
Questions worth 380 marks have been asked from security issues, which comes down to 55 marks at an average. I'm talking about mains.
Right.
And uh, compare it with modern history, I calculated it's 272.5 marks. So
Mhm.
security issues has been
More than
given a
half.
weightage of, yes, 100 marks
Yeah.
extra in last 7 years.
Wow.
Yet, if you ask people which topic do they study more, the weightage given to modern history is not just more, it's disproportionately more. People
Okay.
seldom study security issues. People do not give it enough emphasis. Yes, modern history is asked in prelims also. But then in mains, security issues has higher weightage. We cannot ignore it. International relations, 50 marks standard every year. So last 7 years, it becomes 350 marks. Did people give it due weightage that it deserves? That is one distortion that people must correct. That is one distortion that they must look for, that they have to study for UPSC ultimately. So they should refer frequently to UPSC syllabus and UPSC previous year questions.
Great. So I think to summarize, you said online note taking is the best, and you mentioned the applications that you use. They have to refer to UPSC syllabus and make their own notes from the proper sources, and avoid reading materials that really look good on some aspects, or some centers might recommend it, but it's not actually the best. So it's like, be your own researcher and start doing your own things from the start, rather than depending on any one source for information.
Yes, so basically you have to rely on UPSC syllabus. You have to
Yeah,
complete the syllabus and not the book.
correct,
That's the
correct.
idea. UPSC does not prescribe a list of books that if you complete these books, you are done. They
Yeah,
prescribe you syllabus. It
yeah,
doesn't matter where you finish your syllabus from. You can pick the sources from your own choice, whether it be standard book. There are standard books that one must read to understand the background. That's important actually. I'm not saying that one should not read books. Yes, one must. In fact, in UPSC, it's definitely better if you read a lot of books, because having a good comprehensive ability will help you even in your job.
yeah.
So that's something that's actually recommended, but at the same time, one must not lose focus on the fact that they have to ultimately appear in an exam and crack it. We must not end up with a lot of books, but less coverage of syllabus. That's all.
Yeah.